Le sommet international de l'éducation du futur réunit une soixantaine de conférenciers du monde entier. Des pionniers et des innovateurs issus du monde de l'éducation, bien évidemment, mais également des êtres inspirants, issus des chemins de sagesse ou des chemins d'apprentissage et de créativité dans différents domaines. Les arts, les sciences, l'économie, le lien avec la nature, le sport, etc. Des expériences et des chemins de vie qui sont un formidable enrichissement pour le monde de l'éducation. Le professionnalisme des traductions, en simultané, et l'incroyable richesse de toutes ces conférences offrent un horizon de point de vue vaste et varié, très complet, qui en font au final une véritable formation professionnelle pour les enseignants, les éducateurs et tous les professionnels de l'éducation, mais également une formation à la parentalité consciente et une formation individuelle à la vie consciente. Face à toute cette richesse et aux divers retours, nous avons décidé d'offrir toutes ces conférences à tous, partout dans le monde, en français et en anglais, quelquefois en allemand et en espagnol. Découvrez la vision d'acteurs audacieux et influents du changement, vers un monde éthique, solidaire, généreux et profondément respectueux de tous, des cultures, des peuples, des règnes et de la planète. Un incroyable panel de conférences, couvrant toutes les dimensions de l'éducation, pour un futur ayant du sens, une humanité épanouie et une terre qui respire. Une chose est sûre, votre vie, et à travers vous, celle des enfants, ne sera plus la même après avoir écouté toutes ces conférences. Pour avancer, nous avons besoin de vous, nous avons besoin de votre générosité solidaire. L'organisation du sommet et l'édition des conférences ont nécessité des milliers d'heures de travail et nécessitent encore beaucoup de temps et d'investissement. Nous faisons appel aux dons libres et spontanés pour compléter le financement du sommet et, si possible, continuer à l'enrichir de nouvelles conférences. Votre soutien est vraiment précieux et vital pour aller jusqu'au bout de cette aventure extraordinaire. Merci.
Alors, bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue Sabine, merci beaucoup.
So, hi everybody, welcome Sabine. Thank you for taking part to the international summit. It's a really interesting subject. You're going to talk about the intelligence of the large trees, and this intelligence will inspire us and our society. So you are a coach, a psychologist, a psychopedagogist, researcher in applied sciences. You have created a different program, an SDG, International Peace Trees and SDGs program, and also the Solidarity and Creative Schools and Cities for Peace, Climate, Abundance, and the SDGs. So you have supported and helped more than 500,000 children and educational communities in 27 countries around the world, including a very large number of children traumatized or in great psychological distress due to armed conflicts, bombings, displacements, separations, priority neighborhoods, regions of the world in great shortages and poverty. So you have the floor and we are listening to you. Thank you, Emelina. Thank you, Abel. Thank you, all the panelists and all the participants, because this international summit is the proof that we all have a collective intelligence, and we all have international richness for the future of the generations to come, for all human beings, living creatures. And today I'm going to share my screen and I will present you a PowerPoint presentation, and we'll go beyond, I think, intelligence of large trees and forests are really important for everyone, and to reveal all together for the best version for humanity. And I think today many people talk and the destiny of humanity is at stake for the young generation. We know that species are threatened. Some people are talking about the sixth largest massive extinction. Today, we have to make a choice, and I think that we are all able to do more. And I'm going to show you how we do. We have special gifts, and the world needs our gifts, our human potential that is underexploited at the moment. And I think that today it is time for us to activate all that, to have this experience. I propose you to enter a new dynamics. We are going to make an immersive experience with all these children. We're going together to build the world we want to live in. And as this girl is opening her arms, I propose to do the same, because we're going together on a trip. We are going to live for we are going to go far away. That's the capacity we have from our underestimated gifts. We have the capacity to see us, to observe us, to see well beyond us. And that's the first gift that we need to activate all together. And we're going to go high and high to see what's happening. So here we are in the space, and we are observing. I think we can all see what's happening. What can we see? At the level of the tensions, the armed conflicts, about the degradations. So let's see what's happening on Earth at the level of your country, how people are living together, reacting together, and you can go down and you can observe in your life, how are you proceeding things? If you are a teacher, how are things functioning at the moment with all this tension? There are a lot of depression, burnout. We see a lot of difficulties. And how are things happening in your life? Today, our human family, large human family, is going through an initiation, and this state that we are seeing, that is everywhere, is a state of inconsistency. And this state, we are seeing it at all levels of our societies. with the terrible effects, consequences. We are going through a crisis period with the stress of the conflicts, creating a lot of suffering, fears, frustrations, degradations, exploitations, and misery. And so this state of inconsistency will lead to a massive extinction of the species. 57% of all species have already disappeared, and that's the future of the children that is threatened today. So what's happening now for our human family? What's happening when we are seeing things as an eagle? How did we reach this stage? Now it is more easy to understand for you. So at the level of your human brain, we have been programmed to be able to focus on all the fears. So to see the dangers. And even if even if things are going well, we'll focus on what is not going well. So we'll see the lack of recognition, the lack of resources, the lack of strength, the lack of energy, all kind of shortcomings. And so our brain is constantly active. That's what we are calling this mentality. And so we are closed at all levels, at the level of the states, the media, focused on the problems. And so we enter in the physiology of fear, because you have the image of this little animal that is fearing. This monkey is full of fears, and this will have an enormous impact, because all our energy because we will be always ready. So all this energy is going in other extremities, and so we suffered because we are suffering, and our heart is broken because the heart is closed. But the problem is that the heart is beating also with the inconsistencies, and when our heart is closed, our brain is full of concerns, focused on things that didn't go well. The problem is that since we are creative human beings, we are creating other crises, other problems externally. since we are in crisis internally, and it's a difficult virtuous circle. And so today we were born and we want to evolve towards another thing, because our humanity wants to be in harmony, in peace, taking care of the human beings, taking care of everyone, an inclusive world. And this consistent world has a vision. This vision is already existing. This vision is the one of the 17 Sustainable Development Objectives. Among the population, few really know these objectives. In schools, in universities, these objectives are already existing. I'm going to put it a bit in a clearer way. And these objectives have been created by the United Nations, that's to say the 193 member countries, which all signed in September 2015 in order to reach these objectives in 2030. And so I'm not going to explain all that, but the humanity wants a world with zero poverty, zero hunger, when everyone will be in good health, when there is a good education, an education that is inclusive, as well as for the access to education, equality between the genders, energy, water. All large themes are touched upon, and all the challenges are touched upon with the cities, the consumption, urgent measures against the climate change.
It also means the entire biodiversity, and we're coming to peace, to justice, and this long-lasting peace and the different international partnerships, so that each and every one should attain these objectives. So this common vision, which all countries have in common. And this is really marvelous. This is a point, or it could be summarized, these 17 objectives into 5 major pillars, with the main priorities for our huge human family, so that we can evolve in full harmony and in a coherent manner. First, we have the pillar planet, so restoration, everything to do with the planet, the oceans, the plants. Second one is peace, sustainable peace, because there can't be any sustainable development or sustainable growth without peace, because we see when there's a war on, it's impossible for a country to develop in a sustainable manner. And no peace is possible either without any sustainable development. Then the two hands shaking the partnerships, and also the local partnerships, in order to succeed in reaching these 17 objectives. Then is the pillar population in orange, so the well-being of all populations of the planet. And these are the 5 first pillars, roughly speaking, the 5 objectives. We are in the full of it in the International Summit of Education for the Future, so the well-being of population and the education of quality for everyone at all ages. And then the last major pillar is the prosperity, abundance for each and every one. Now, the question is being posed, how are we going to reach this all together? Because it's a project. It is a common inspiration we all have, and for which the heads of states and governments joined. And I invite you to read this, to see and to read their commitment. They've been working for 2 years together with civil society, with associations, to write these 17 sustainable development goals. It's a huge and intelligent work, a common effort. Then I told to myself, how can we do this? How can we come to it? And our community, our humanity is trying to develop towards something sustainable. I posed myself the question, okay, let us look at the most sustainable elements in the world, the most inclusive ones, and how do they function? So that they can be a source of inspiration to us and how they can guide us, because we need ideas how we can do all this in order to come to this sustainable society, and also calling upon the intelligence of nature. The trees came to me, really came to me, and when there was a moment of crisis, there were also the attacks of Paris in 2015, and the day afterwards, there was the first tree of peace. So these are the great masters for all of us, the organism that tell us how to reach all this. The functioning of a forest is also a solid a functioning based on solidarity. It has been proven by science. Science made a lot of progress in order to show how forests work, how the big trees work, how they communicate between them, how they call the rain. There's this biodiversity, how they cooperate with other realms. It's a fascinating world. Every day we're in touch with these huge trees. And there's above all, there's also one element which today has been shown and proven scientifically, and which is quite interesting for us and for each and every one of us. When you look and when we connect, I'm sure, in your life, your present life, or in the past, you had the opportunity of having a particular link with a huge tree, and to just try and memorize this tree. It could be another one, but try and connect to this tree. So when you take time to look at it, how do you feel? And that's where science comes in. So the huge tree has the capacity, proprioceptive, what we did before with the eagle. It has the capacity of self-regulate, so it's capable of striking a balance again, because it has to carry branches of an immense weight. And as the branches grow, they grow at exactly the same, at the appropriate place in order to remain in balance. So it is a model for us, which is extremely interesting. Also, as we compare it to the chaotic situation we are living in nowadays, at a moment of stress. So how can we manage to regulate and to be in self-control. So we, human beings, each one of us who are part of this huge human family that tries to evolve through coherence towards harmony, well, the trees inspired me as a coach to create an instrument of self-regulation so that each human being, each man, each woman, each child can reach this. And I based myself for this on the 5 pillars, so the 17 sustainable development goals. And you will see that during your entire day, you're capable, and this is one of the talents we have as a human species, so which is not exploited at all today, so we can be in full control of our body. We have this mastery. We are not forced, whether it's the little monkeys in the tree, but we are in control of ourselves. And so we're going to do the experience. So we can do this together. So how we can, we're going to experiment it. How can we get in control of ourselves, become a master of ourselves, and choose to anchor ourselves, our connection with the earth. So we're going to do this in detail later on. But now I'm going to give you the basis, how we can choose now to reach a balance, to breathe, to reopen your heart. How can we choose to put into your heart the feelings that do us good, feelings that open up our hearts and that keep our heart open. And we can also choose thoughts that make us feel well, where we feel incredibly well. And we can also choose our synergies, our vibrations. At the present moment, we can choose what kind of energy or what kind of vibration you're in. And in order to feel incredibly good and incredibly abundant at this particular moment, it's a choice we can make. But we didn't learn how to master this personal instrument. And the consequence, of course, for all of us is enormous, because the more you have coherence inside of you, which we are in full coherence, the more you're going to create externally elements which are coherent, opportunities, meetings, and life will become very fluid. Because in this state of coherence, you've noticed that this band is getting wider and wider. And this, because we're connecting with the universal field, the full universal field of all the things that exist in the universe. So linking up all objects, linking all the organisms. And this is also situated at the level of energy. What we have in common is energy. So I'm not going to enter any further into details, because here the trees and the forests bring us yet another element, which is extremely important. The functioning of the forests is a functioning which is totally coherent, even though it doesn't show. But there is a logic of unity, which is phenomenal. There's unity within this forest, and this cooperation and in unity is key for our humanity today. In this field, in the this field of coherence. These are the great master for us to come back to the earth and to live it all together. So this great and big coherence. So what I suggest is we're going to experience this all together. If you agree, of course. So I would like to suggest this. So it's an international summit, which is quite magnificent. There are people from everywhere, people from all continents which attend. And so we're going to be able to do this experience of unity. So I would like to invite you to breathe in, to feel well for the moment in this particular instant. And we're going to feel your feet connected to the earth we all share. And feel profoundly how the earth, which is a living body, breathes, how it is breathing, and how we can connect to it, because it is breathing in coherence. So only the fact of connecting to the earth is, and we are reaching a level of coherence. And then what you can imagine, if you have the roots of your tree that go deeper into the earth, very deep, and for this we can thank all the living elements in the earth that see to it that the earth is so rich, so that there's food for everyone. So we're going to the roots are going up to the very heart, the very center of the planet. So do you feel your roots that go deeper and deeper? And so we're here on the four corners of the planet, and we can breathe in harmony with the earth, and to thank the earth sincerely. Also thanking the water. And then I would like to invite you to enlarge your roots and to connect to the roots of the other people who are present here, who are everywhere on the planet, and to feel the roots that come together in unity. We're all connected. As the roots of a tree are connected, in between them, we also, our roots are connected to this earth. Can you feel it? Then we're going up again, and we're coming back to the heart. And you can do like the children. I'm going to show you some pictures afterwards. As children do it, so you can put your hands on your heart. And there we're going to breathe in to the fullest, and very slowly, very calmly, as if it were our heart breathing, and making coherent waves. And you follow these waves, breathing peacefully. And there, once again, we feel the energy that comes back to our heart, which are center, our creator. It's with this that we start creating you feel the energy that goes back, flows back to your heart. We reopen our heart, and then here we're going to fill it with feelings. And here we can choose to fill it with love, appreciation, to feel everything, and to thank for everything we have on earth. We can think of people we appreciate. We can thank them for all the food we have, for the house, friends, our families, and we fill it with gratitude, with feelings. Our heart is widely open. And then we're going to choose thoughts that will make us feel well and to appreciate all the things we already have, all the things we have already succeeded in our life, the things we've overcome, so that we went beyond to transcend, and feeling all these thoughts which are doing us well. And then we will be able to, let's say, release our energy in this magnetic field. And doing this, the children, they send all this energy to the other children and to all the other people on the planet who need love. Can we all do this together? So we open our magnetic field, and when you're ready, and when you feel totally in balance, so we're going to send everything to all the people who suffer, to all the people, to all the living beings. We can do this, and we can send it. We open our field of energy, and then afterwards, together, we can receive all the energy we received also from the group. So it's very nice. I felt it. It's magnificent. So you feel this unity all together, all connected with our roots, with our hearts. So when we can really send thoughts of love, because being as we are with unique and extraordinary talents, which we all need, and we can really enter this huge solid tree. And in order to reveal all our talents, the time has come to achieve all our talents, also including the ones of the children. Did you feel it? Okay, but you can write it down on the chat how you felt. So you feel this huge unity, uniformity in our heart, this heart which is breathing, this open heart. It's this open heart of creation through us. It's a heart we can connect to at any time of the day. We're united by the energy, and we are very lucky to have this heart, which is much more than a rather mechanical pump and a door through which we can enter this universal field of coherence, and especially vis-à-vis the 7 Sustainable Development Goals and all the immense challenges we have to take up. This space of coherence, this unity, is also the access through which we can come to a higher intelligence, to this universal library of all solutions that contains all the solutions we require in order to live in coherence, to create this world we all wish. And each and everyone has access to it in order to reveal his or her biggest talents, in order to find solutions totally new and that go beyond what our little mind can imagine. We need the huge genius of everyone, and everyone can have access to it. So this is a very good piece of news. It's a huge gift we all received. This the genie, all the genia that lived on the world are people who had access to this universal library, all these children, and what they can do in the world. Well, the time has come to connect all together in order to innovate sustainable solutions. And totally new, which we can't even imagine today. And that is what is great, and especially the children, the young people are born with codes, and they're already much more connected than we are. They are more in connection with the high intelligences. And giving them the possibility on a daily basis to experiment and to connect them, and to give them also the possibility to to put the talents all together to contribute to the world. So that's what we've been working on through the international program of the peace trees, which we started in 2015 throughout the world. And what Evelyn also mentioned, so it's 27 countries. Behind each tree, there's a community, a school, families, you name it, sometimes entire villages. And it's 5,000 people who said they're using this instrument. So these are the best coaching instruments we have: self-coaching, team building, and especially also leadership, and which was simplified in order to make it accessible to all inhabitants of the planet, because everyone deserves to be helped daily and to create many splendid things, and especially to put all these talents in the world. So, and it's what this was done to help you. Here are a few pictures which I'd like to show you. So we feel that today in this world, the coherence that can emerge. So here, a lot exists already, and we're going to accompany these ideas. And the children, with their pure and great heart, have a magnificent action. Also, they have a lot of talent because children, once again, are born with codes for solutions, and we give them the possibility of putting their talent in common and in order to find intelligent solutions. So, in order to come to it all together, I developed it's an action plan of the towns who are creative for peace, also the sustainable development goals, abundance, development goals. They're even more powerful when this is done together with the towns that are twinned, and it's even a stronger collection because they will be using the same programs in the two towns. So I'm going to show you what it means. For instance, the example of Avignon. Avignon is twinned to other towns, so it's worthwhile to go and have a look where you are to see with which town your own town is being twinned, because here this is at town level. Here you see the trees. The trees are all the nursery and primary and secondary schools and universities. So really, all of the youth, and we're going to uh, go through the same program every day and during the whole year. And this in order to come to create this coherence. And in this coherence, the brain waves of our heart and of our body, everything is harmonized. And here we have access to new solutions, but it's also we have access to our highest performance, and we accelerate the results in this way. So you will see that for the children and on a daily basis. So together with the help of the children, we've developed a book. It's the book of peace and abundance. It's a book, the book of the tree. So they followed this coaching, the coaching I had developed, and you will see that this large and huge uh, ancestral knowledge. And so here, which we try and to retain. So you will see here that the children very easily through this book, which is shown on a computer in the classroom, and as we love trees, also we avoid printing them because for this we should use paper. There's also the preamble of the mayor of the town, because it's distributed to all the teachers of the town and to all families also. And of course, there is the preamble of Nelson Mandela, which is really a figure, a visionary, a great person for humanity. And it remains a Nobel Prize. He has a huge vision of a coherent world which is united. So I show you a few pictures, and then we can go into the details. But here, the children, they tell the stories of the trees and all the friends of the trees, and this enables them to educate them, but with a view to the environment. There's also the syndrome of nature deficit, which becomes more and more apparent. And so here the children will have to take care of nature and be hugely connected to the earth. And therefore, it's important that a maximum is done so that the children once again can create a link of love with nature, because you don't take care of something you don't like or you don't love. So for us, the first objective is really that they can develop their love for nature of all living organisms. And through this story, this also enables them and to feel this unity through their roots. And they also they discover this in each phase of history, and the children are going to invent a game of breathing. So, for instance, here I'm opening my arms and my heart and opening up the space between my fingers. And then I'm closing my arms again. So this is the game of friendship, because in history we talk about all the friends of the trees, and behind you see the peace tree of that school. It's a school that has known a lot of violence, and the children have created a magnificent book, and we use it for all subject matters. Here we want to support the teachers make it easier for them to acquire, to learn, to motivate the pupils, and as a citizen of the world, so that they can contribute to it largely. Also, they learn because there are three versions. They learn to invent new games of breathing in and breathing out with a link to the nature in order to enable them to observe nature. So there's the butterfly game, the large bird game, the little lovebird, the beetle. So the objective is to create a new albums and to create new games. So they have a lot of imagination. They want to move, and but of course, the trees offer us the oxygen we require, and we give them a lot of things back, which they transform, and they're in a full of symbiosis. And the trees give us the oxygen that enable us to become calm, to breathe, and once again to reach our balance again and to self-regulate once we start observing and that we feel a certain stress or where things become agitated. So the book has been translated. On the right-hand side, you have the history. On the left-hand side of each page of here's the English and Spanish translation. So all possible translations are possible. Also with the twin cities. Also, so this is also a way of getting to know one another better and to create this unity. And during, well, there's a whole history behind it. It is one of the trees tells the story, and the children are then invited to draw. And what is it for you? This tree of peace and abundance. For a teacher, it doesn't take a lot of time, but for the child, well, how do you see this? A child, all classes do this together, and it's also done in the entire town. And here, in 20 minutes' time, we have the vision of the children of this coherent world, or the world in coherence, and it's what is it for them, and that we can show all these drawings, the exhibition. All this is shown when we launch a book. But for children, this is quite amazing. Even if we draw a tree, also for the teachers, and they can detect and see whether the tree is sick, or they might detect some problems with the children also in this way. So this is through the drawing of a tree, and we have to do it over and over again because it's a very good thing for children. Here, the children, of course, they also during the inauguration they learn to send comments. Here, you see all the parents behind were there. It's in the full of the Ramadan period. So it's really magnificent. And these are elements that bring people together. So that addresses to all religions, to all people, to all different populations. So it's the pigeon of our heart. So to all the people in the world, to the children in the world. So it was a magnificent moment. So this inauguration of the Tree of Peace. And then I'll show you a few more pictures. How they reacted, they had access to it, Argentina, Costa Rica, the public, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So there are about 300,000 billion of trees in the world. So it is a good thing to inaugurate it, to think of them. Here you have these huge trees, magnificent, and here it's also a space that creates security to the children. They feel safe, but this love for the tree is really something. And here, the children, it's something the children learn because it's natural for children. The children go out shouting, "Don't touch the tree of peace." For them, it's something natural. And naturally, all together, they will try and reconciliate near the tree. It's born, we were born with this. And so we reopen our heart, we can communicate to the children all by themselves. They also know how to self regulate their feelings, and when they're too agitated, when they need to relax, when they need to express a joy or sadness, they ask to go to the tree. It really becomes a friend, a great friend for them. So a new source of energy for them, and for the teachers. The teachers very often share their feeling. So the teachers say, whenever I see the big tree, I feel better, and so they feel good. And so then the teacher goes back and comes back to a balanced situation, because it's, of course, one of the most difficult jobs being a teacher. And so here the teachers, they are using these instruments in order to remain in balance, to be in full control of themselves, and to bring to the children what they need, but will hark back to it in order to reveal their potential. So it's the inauguration, but also people from the media who are invited, from the authorities, the mayors, the representatives of national education, and also other representatives. Here it was in Ovira, in the south of Kivu, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So there were armed conflicts, and we were there at the time. And here it was very difficult to give a training to the people and to those who accompanied to the trainers. And the town was also attacked at the time. So when we were quite impressed, but we saw that everyone was shouting. We heard machine guns, but this really gave us a time for breathing of calmness. So we remained very calm and during this period, although it was chaos all around us, a lot of agitation. But let me summarize, because it was really a very nice experience from the inside, and how even in extremely difficult, stressful moments, when your life is in danger, that you come to a balance again. That's also what the teachers have in the Ukraine when there are bombardments, and the bombardments near the schools. What they do is breathing exercise. We also met children in Palestine, and near the border, who were suffered from bombardments, and so they wanted to come out of this, to build up the energy again. But we know exactly what to do. There's no panic. We remain calm. In Oviam, there were very nice testimonies, because after all this, the children told us what they did, and the blue helmets of the United Nations were in Ovira, and they were very interesting to see what was going on around those streets. And the children did a great act. So they went to the refugee camps, where no one dared to go, because it was very chaotic, and the children wanted to go there in order to give them support and to give them small gifts. whereas they themselves really have the very, very strict minimum. And the commander of the Blue Helmets really appreciated this gesture. And there were a lot of machine guns, armored soldiers, but we see the Pakistani, the commander, uh, uh, how is coming near the tree, and then is really connected to his country, and with this higher intelligence, this peace. It was a very nice moment, and it's shown in a part of the video. And they also invited all the children, and they created themselves an act of kindness, and they have boxes for peace for the children in order to thank them. So it is really beautiful, this solidarity and this straightforward solidarity between different people, starting with a tree. So then afterwards, the children learn the same, to do the same exercise as we did before. Here I'm just showing you a few pictures. And what was also important that each and every one learns to be in your own big tree with your own unique talents and perfect as it is. And together we are making up a huge forest where every child is linked with unique talents, and together we make up, we are a great forest. They also go beyond the difference. We're all united, we're all connected by our roots, and we need the talents of everyone in order to be able to carry out actions at the service of the well-being of the others and the planet. So we eliminate all problems, harassment, depreciation, this interior language. I'm not capable of doing anything. I'm stupid. So we develop trust in oneself and security. So the children should be able to find their interior, their internal qualities, this link, this attachment. We are working on this a lot because every morning the teachers, after connected to the heart, they connect with each one of them. It's very beautiful to see because the heart remains open. Everything remains open, and the children have access to a higher potential, and they find peace and calmness. Just summarizing, so here and other places in Togo, so it's going beyond all religions. You see these little girls, and then also the classes of 64 pupils doing the same exercise, but it's a total silence with the setting in. And this is also one of the elements, of course, which are fundamental in order to develop the genius inside of yourself, this trust you have, and also to have access to silence. So to find this trust and this support you can get from others, you can bring to yourself and to others. And that is the main message of the forests, after all. Each human being, in order to develop your genius, your highest potential, needs to feel this trust. And we developed a model of the 9 needs, emotional support, being a human, for being a human on the earth. And in order to give support to the teachers to help the children on a daily basis, and to the children to support, in turn, the teachers in order to bring them the support they need. So the children, as you see, through this state of heart coherence, so just imagine what it is for an entire town, all the children, every morning in the beginning of the lessons, an enormous coherence is thus created, and also the peace it brings with it. And So here we see them in the classroom, we see them everywhere. There are a lot of countries here. There's Brussels. And of course, we can also do this with the grandparents. So people, the older generation. So also we're getting rid of the generation gaps. At the same time, whether you're a girl or a boy, man, woman, old, young, this respect and this appreciation is really lived through from the inside. And so we're a lot of videos to show how people are being connected in this higher dimension with the older people, also with the teachers and the parents. So it is really beautiful to see all this. It is really magnificent. So as we saw, when we open up the magnetic fields and when we harmonize all this in order to get into synergy with the universal field. And taking it from there, uh, and yes, we also have this possibility, each and every one of us. It's a gift, you see, to self-regulate. So when we feel that there's chaos inside, we can say, okay, I decide, I'm deciding, and I would like to become coherent again, to strike a balance again, and to get harmony back to my life and harmony around me. I'm not going to enter into scientific considerations, but in this way, you impact all the things that surround you, the animals, children, plants, and so on. So we are connected. We are in connection. Coherence. It's a principle of basic principle of life. So you reconnect with this state. You can learn this. So whenever you are incoherent, you can come back to a coherence, and everyone can learn this. So we have a program altogether. In the beginning of the class, every morning, there's the game of the huge tree in order to create the coherence and to do some team building and respecting one another. And the only thing we have to do is to be in control of yourself. That is the job. You shouldn't be competing with the other. You are in competition with yourself in order to succeed in being in self-control. And then you will feel calm, you will feel peaceful, and then cooperating with the others. So the children, they learn about leadership in the beginning of the lesson. In each lesson, once they come back from the recreation ground, there's the exercise of breathing, a micro pose. And if you here on top, it's in Morocco, it's the game of the rainbow. The children go in front of the class, they learn a positive leadership, positive influence, and all the pupils the same day see to it that what the child before the classroom is doing, they invent games. It's very marvelous. Children, they also learn to have trust in themselves. And they learn about leadership, innovation. So they invent these games. They observe nature instantaneously. With they focus on their heart, and instantaneously everything becomes calm. So mental agitation, the level goes down. There's a lot of science behind these instruments, but it really enables to enter in full conscience at the moment present and totally available and open to learning. So in the beginning of the lesson, then at the end, they celebrate the successes each time, the progress made. Once again, there's the exercise of breathing. I didn't put everything because the clock is ticking. And we also have a timeline. So they are the big, the large, the 5 pillars which we're going to celebrate all together. So as I mentioned, so the 5 major pillars. First, the pillar, we start with peace. Then we start with the International Day of Peace. We're going to celebrate this all together in a creative manner and innovate solutions so that we can all practice such a coherence in order to live through a sustainable peace. This is absolutely possible. It's magnificent. The poems, the drawings, the innovations they made for peace, human creativity is marvelous. It's beautiful through these 5 party, or better, let's call it feast. So the families also participate. The local associations also participate. The towns, the companies, all the convenience stores, the neighborhood store. So also everyone is participating, and it's beautiful. It's also thanks to the human genius. All the people open their shops, restaurants, they make dishes of the peas. The children are going to visit the elderly people. The elderly people sing peace songs. So there is a magnificent creativity which is possible during these celebrations. That's the first pillar. Then the second pillar, 2 months later, it's a partnership pillar. The partnership pillar, we are this going to be celebrated on the day of the International Day of Happiness and Joy, together with nature and with life. And here, the very small actions of kindness which the children invent and which is also done within their families. Also, we also try and stimulate children to help out their mothers so that everyone feels good, so that we share the housework. If the mother has to do everything, think of everything, and she's the last one to go to bed, to last one to eat. So there's an intelligent coherence. Everyone um, uh, can share. Also, the boys, we incite them, we stimulate them to participate and to respect all members, to contribute and to act as a responsible young person. But it's extraordinary what they're doing. So tomorrow, one of my colleagues is going to talk about the kindness day. It's there in France. Well, that's when we had the terrorist attacks in Paris. But it's thanks to this chaos that they called upon us. But she's going to present to you an action organized by her organizer, because kindness and is part of the climate which is needed so that our genius mind develops. So an open heart. So we wanted to have access to our greatest potential. It's very important to create this relational climate of everyone should remain in this state of coherence. These are very small actions. It creates an extraordinary action. There are also interactions that are being created between the different schools in order to support one another and to base and also to develop this international solidarity to help out people who have difficulties. So there is International Day of Human Fraternity, and there's an enormous an enormous synergy that comes up. So those people who are in the street, of course, they have this goodwill for each and every one, and the children going or are in hospital, also the people, all the people who are in a state of exclusion. Well, during that day, they're integrated. So in coherence, you are in a unity, and each time it's the possibility for the children to innovate solutions also within the schools. Okay, there are some schools who do not have anything to eat. So what can we innovate so that everyone can have something to eat? Because well, some children feel hungry. So there are solutions for all these issues. There's some schools and more where children are hungry. It's very important, you know. So we have to reflect on this. We should collectively work on this. So some children don't even have pencils, erasers, paper, whatever. But everyone should be able to have the same opportunities. And here, this the huge day we just celebrated a couple of days ago, 22nd of April, the International Day of the Planet. So we're going to take care of the trees, going to plant new trees. So the earth, the day of the earth feeding us. The universities help us. All the research work, the thesis, will be integrated, and also so that the 17 SDGs can be integrated, and that they can all contribute for the well-being of all mankind. So at the end of the year, that we're going to celebrate all achievements that have been made, all the successes, all the progress made, all the happiness we brought to the others and to the planet during the entire year, all the personal successes, the personal progress made. So it's really important in order to come out of this negative mental state, is to celebrate the progress, the efforts done, and also to be able to celebrate this collective success as achieved by the community on the whole. So it's magnificent, it's incredible, because it enables us to create a new employment, new markets also in the towns. It's really opportunities, enormous opportunities there, and also holistic events. And I believe we on the eve of a lot of innovation, also from a technological point of view. So here you can imagine what it can look like. And so it's always celebrate together with the authorities, the media are invited. They love these events. So a couple of minutes because it's almost time. Still a few more pictures of the children. So what they invented for the peace pillar, their acts of kindness, and when someone is ill, they send them support. The boxes for peace. Our objective is always to help the work of the teachers, of the educators, and this for the good of the community. And so the teacher, they can integrate all subject matter, French, geography, mathematics, through these class projects. And this gives a lot of motivation to the children to do their very best. And also for the teacher, it's quite joyful. Also the children that are going to visit other children in the camps, in hospital, planting trees. For them, it's very important that each child should be able to plant at least one tree to take care of it. And then so that the pillar prosperity can also be celebrated here. At the level also of the authority, UNESCO was present, the ambassadors were there, the Confederation of all ministers responsible for national education of the Francophone countries, the Confédération. So there's a huge unity around it. And so the mayor of Dakar was present, and also the children. And so the children also learned them how to celebrate the success. And so it's really important in order to come out of the negative spiral and to focus on solution. So, and that to end within this dynamism, you set free our collective and individual ingenuity, we can all evolve in harmony, in full coherence, and especially we meet at 11 minutes past 11 every day in order to be coherent together wherever we might be, and then that we can take our energy out of this in order to go on for another 24 hours and to live through this great planetary unity which we all share and which is an immense present. And they also it's extraordinary for our future. So I would like to thank you immensely for being here all together and to be able to connect ourselves also here. You have the different points of contact for the different so there's also responsible for the International Center of Research and Trainings. Here they have the different electronic addresses and the telephone numbers. So les arbres de paix at gmail.com or the peace trees at gmail.com and the telephone number. So thank you, all of you. I'm going to stop the sharing of the screens. I believe there's still a few minutes left, and so that is the great journey of the eagle. Thank you, Sabine. So we really would like to thank you also. The sincere thanks from Bernadette. So the questions. Aurore says that it's great for children to invent their own breathing exercises in class. And it gives her a lot of ideas. And she also wondered how can she, or what has she got to do so that her school can participate? Yes, of course, we have links with the management and to explain all the positive elements and in order to also to accelerate in the acquisition of the curricula, also the concentration. So it's an instrument of excellence which the children will be able to develop and take along with them the rest of their lives once they are in a situation of stress. We're also in a pedagogical approach, totally supported by national education, and very often the parents also need instruments, also the teachers, of course. The teachers really, it helps them enormously, and also the heads of the directors of these schools, because they have so many tasks, and this instrument really helps them enormously because they're being interrupted, they're being called upon by the parents, by the people in the school, the very long days, but this really can help them. And so I don't know whether I answered your question, but from a pedagogical point of view, and also to recreate the links with the parents, to make the links easier, to facilitate them, teacher, parents, children, and so on. And of course, also the nature is central, of course, and also important for the future. So I don't know whether I answered your question.
Eh ben, Aurore, je te laisse dire si tu veux. Et puis, il y avait aussi Lucille, je crois.
So there was also Lucille.
Lucie, qui
Lucy
demande
was asking,
comment être formée, je pense. Que
how can we be
d'en savoir plus.
trained? She would like to find out more to be trained in this process. Yes, as far as that is concerned, we offer or we propose training sessions. So we train the masters, the master trees in the forest, so that they can do it afterwards by themselves, so that they can develop their projects and they can create their own forest. So we train the master trees.
Prenez contact
But if
avec
you're
nous.
interested, well, then get in touch with us, write us, and we'll see what we can do, whether there are already well-trained trees in the neighborhood. But anyhow, the objective is that we have a maximum of people who can have access to these tools in order to develop their beautiful forest. And they can live through this extraordinary synergy, this creative ingenuity, and to all the songs, the dances which are being invented, games, video games, and just you name it. There's really a lot of things we can do. So just write us and we'll answer. And then we'll try and find a time where we can meet. And we can also create a group of trainers, of people who will accompany the other trainers.
Aurore va te contacter.
So I'm sure Aurora will get in touch with you. Thank you, Aurora. Welcome. There are some programs a little bit everywhere in the world, also existing in different parts of the world. Yes, the book is accessible, the huge book, and in different languages, but I can also train and give lessons in English. And the objective is it's precisely to reinforce the teams, and this in order to have multilingual and international teams in order to spread this in other countries. Also, the Teachers Without Borders. It's also a superb association.
But currently everything is in French. We are in this phase in which we're going to reinforce the teams because it's the same program everywhere. And this program can be applied to all cities, all villages in the world in order for the schools to become creative schools. And if they do it in synergy, these are a solidarity school for peace and education. So it's really nice to see because the creativity of human beings is really incredible. It's moving how many times I said to myself as a cooperator of the NGO that it is very extraordinary what the children are creating with the parents, all the solidarity. A grandfather created a seed around a tree, so everyone is contributing. Everyone has a gift and contributes to this solidarity. That's really, really nice to see. So two small questions. Lucy is asking if we can be trained, even if we are not teachers, or Emeline, look at the time. Maybe Lucy can directly contact Sabine, and Michel, who wants to know the signification, the meaning of ODD, so that's sustainable. Sustainable objectives, sustainable development objectives, and the town halls will write a word in the book, and the mayors will commit towards the children. And it's important for the mayors to commit and to be involved in the project. Thank you very much.
Merci Sabine.
Thank you, Sabine. This was a real pleasure to take part to this project, and I wish you good luck for the future. Thank you.